This is episode 22 of I Love This Album. This just keeps going on and on. I don't know when I'm going to stop. And the reason this is going on and on is because I keep finding albums that I love or albums that I really can talk about that weren't on my original list of albums that I was going to do. And this is one of them. This is Scorpions Worldwide Live. The reason for this one is I don't know when, a couple of times a year with some bands, with other bands, maybe it's once every few years, I get a real period of a real craving for a certain band. And I'm not a massive Scorpions fan. I've liked them for a long time, but I'm not a massive Scorpions fan that I think originally I'd only ever bought starting from Love Drive up until the last one I bought was Crazy World in 1990. And so I never got into them too much when I was a kid or a teenager or all along. But a couple of years ago, I thought I'm going to go back and I'm going to dig into. I never heard anything pre-Love Drive, which was from '78 or before. I'd heard a few songs, but I'd never heard a full album. I had heard Love Drive, Animal Magnetism, Blackout, Love at First Sting, and then Savage Amusement. Crazy World. I got out of the Scorpions business after Crazy World, but I went back. I'm going on and on. So a couple of years ago, I thought I want to really learn more about old Scorpions, and so I listened to going from their first album, Lonesome Crow, in 1972, and went all the way through up to again. I can't go past Crazy World, and I really liked it. And then again, recently, maybe 2 months ago, I had this real craving for Scorpions again. So I got their whole discography. I downloaded Lonesome Crow, Fly to the Rainbow, In Trance, Virgin Killer, Taken by Force, and I already had the other ones after that, Tokyo Tapes, and really good stuff. So I've been listening to that a lot for the last 2 months or so. But I realized that there's not really one Scorpions album that I had like a real connection with, like all these other ones I talked about. There are lots that I really like a lot, but because I kind of got into them a little bit late, I just didn't have the connection with them. And I can tell you the first time I got into Scorpions, first time I ever heard them, probably like a lot of people, was No One Like You on Blackout, 1982. I didn't buy that album. I don't even think I bought that single, but it was on the radio all the time. And I love that song because to me, Scorpions were a new band, and they clearly had the metal, hard rock, guitar vibe of all the music that I was listening to in 1982, which was Iron Maiden, AC/DC, Van Halen, Kiss, Black Sabbath, and so I really liked it. And I knew, I guess Blackout, the title track too. But then the first one I bought was Love at First Sting in '84, and I bought Blackout some years later, but I bought Love at First Sting, and I liked it a lot. I really liked it, but at that time, in 1984, was when Love at First Sting came out. I liked it. It was never on the same level for me as Power Slave, Out of the Cellar, Shout at the Devil. I know that came out in '83, but it was, I guess to me, still kind of a new album in '84. Ride the Lightning. That was my, those were my really top things in '84. Love at First Sting was on the next level below. But I did see Scorpions on that Love at First Sting tour. It was my second concert ever. I saw them in Toronto. My first concert ever was Ozzy, April 25th, 1984, on the Bark at the Moon tour in Toronto at Maple Leaf Gardens. And then I saw my second concert ever was Scorpions. I'll show this in a second. I've got props, of course. Second concert ever was Scorpions on the Love at First Sting tour at the CNE Grandstand on August 17th, 1984. It was part of a show or a bill. I don't think it was a tour. It was just the one show in Toronto that was billed as the Heavy Metal Hurricane. It was Scorpions, Quiet Riot, Helix, and Kickaxe. And man, in 1984, that almost couldn't be beat, especially in the summer. And here it is. Very faded. This thing is, this piece of paper, this ticket stub is 37 years old. So of course it's a little bit faded. And you can see that I wrote. Sometimes they didn't print the band officially on. So if they didn't, I wrote. So all these years later, I could remember who. So this was Quiet Riot, Helix, Kickaxe. August 17th, 1984. So I saw that tour, and what a great year that was for me for concerts. 1984, my third concert was Iron Maiden on the Live After Death tour, or the World Slavery Tour, also in 1984, November 30th at Maple Leaf Gardens. So amazing that when I started my concert career, two of the first three concerts I saw, the second and the third, spawned these great live albums. Now I'll get back to the reason why I'm going to talk about this. This is Worldwide Live. I do love it, and I think I said, and if I didn't, I should have. I think I said when I ran through Iron Maiden's discography and Kiss's discography like a year ago, I probably consider this my third favorite live album ever. Kiss Alive is for sure the best. It's down there in the corner, the actual album. And Live After Death is second, and Worldwide Live is, I would say, third. I have many lists of favorites, everything. It's hard to keep track. But I would say this is number 3. And of course, you like it better if you were at the show, and I wasn't at the shows that they recorded for this album, but I did see this tour. So I bought this when it came out. I was very excited because I saw the concert, and Scorpions were really big in the summer of '84. So that's a little bit of my Scorpions history. Now about the album itself, as I said, this was recorded on the Love at First Sting tour in 1984 in Paris, Costa Mesa, California, San Diego, California, and one or two other places. I know they have it in the liner notes. Los Angeles, San Diego, Costa Mesa, Paris, and Cologne, West Germany, back when there used to be East and West Germany. Pretty cool. This was, I think this picture was from the US Festival. The Scorpions played the US Festival in '83. And it's got to be US Festival. And, it's got the tour dates here. Cool, nice, I guess pretty cool packaging for the CD. Of course, I had the record this came out when I was 15 years old, and same packaging, some liner notes, some pictures, everything you want in a live album. The tour dates, very good. Now getting to the album itself, I'll get to the tracks shortly, but the album itself, there's especially in the internet age, you start to find out things that happened years ago, decades before that you didn't know about. Related to live albums that, they weren't actually live. Some of them were not live at all. They were recorded in a studio and then they just added crowd noise. Some of them were maybe just doctored. Some of them maybe had just a few little tweaks. Some of them, I think very, very few, were actually really, truly live. I don't know anything about Worldwide Live. I don't know the reputation of it. I don't know if it sounds, and I don't know if this is good or bad. It sounds good. It sounds perfect, which makes you think, how could they do a perfect album, live album? But the songs are the exact same tone, same tempo, just almost like studio recordings. Now, one thing that I think I didn't know or didn't realize back then in 1984 or '85 when I was a dumb teenager was that they did this kind of thing, and I especially didn't know or didn't think that they added in the crowd noise. Now, years later, after I found out and started going to more concerts, I realized the crowd doesn't scream during the song. There's definitely piped in crowd noise in here. There's canned noise here. It's like a TV show that's recorded in front of a live studio audience, but then they enhance the applause and the laughter. Because every song they play here, you can hear, and it's the same with Kiss Alive, and I won't go into all the other albums, but this one and Kiss Alive for sure. The crowd is screaming through the whole song. Kiss admitted many, many years later that they did that because they wanted to add to the excitement of it, to give it energy and to make you feel like you were really at the concert, which at the time I probably thought was good. But looking back on it now, that's not realistic. And maybe that's why a lot of people complain about the new Iron Maiden live album. They say you can't hear the crowd. Well, typically when a band is playing, nobody's screaming. Maybe you're singing along. There might be some screaming when Bruce Dickinson says, "Scream for me, Mexico City," or whatever. But when a band is just playing, the crowd isn't screaming. So definitely piped in. As for the music, I really don't know. If anybody knows, you can tell me. But I haven't heard anything about this album being doctored. That doesn't mean it wasn't. So getting to the songs, it opens with "Coming Home," which was on Love at First Sting back then, and maybe even now. Bands always open with a song from the newest album, and Scorpions did this too. "Coming Home" is a very up-tempo. In the studio version on Love at First Sting, it starts with a kind of a quiet introduction, but on this one there's they call it the countdown, which was kind of like it's just kind of like I don't know, some noise to build some atmosphere. And then "Coming Home." I know for me it is like coming home. Da, 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 da. I love that song. "Blackout." I love that one too. Scorpions have great riffs. They're maybe a little bit of a band that maybe doesn't get recognition as much as some of the other of their peers, maybe Iron Maiden and Judas Priest, and I don't know if Metallica is a peer, but Scorpions have great guitar and great riffs. Next, "Bad Boys Running Wild," also from Love at First Sting, and we gonna do a number now for you called from the new album from Love at First Sting called "Bad Boys Running Wild." That's Klaus Meine's introduction. There was some pretty funny stage crowd banter from this with Klaus Meine and his voice. But "Bad Boys Running Wild" is also an excellent song. "Loving You Sunday Morning," that's from Love Drive. I really like that song. That's one of my top 10 Scorpion songs, I think. "Make It Real" is good. "Big City Nights," again going back to the new at the time new album, current album, "Big City Nights." "Coast to Coast." "Coast to Coast" is an instrumental, my favorite instrumental ever. Yes, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is. I've talked about this with my friend Kevin Montavon, and he said the same thing. Scorpions are not a heavy band, but "Coast to Coast," that's a pretty heavy song. That's good riffing in there, and amazing groove of that song. Instrumentals are often not my favorite, but "Coast to Coast" is, that might be my top 5 Scorpion songs ever. That's a great song. And Klaus Meine played guitar on this song live. I don't know if it was like Bruce Dickinson did the same thing in Revelations on the Live After or World Slavery Tour, whatever you call it. And I think maybe just the singers at that time like to strap it on and look like they're doing something. I don't know if they were really playing or not, but Klaus Meine, I don't know if he still does it, because I haven't seen this. I saw Scorpions live again twice in '88 and haven't seen them since then. They've been to Mexico City, but I haven't seen them. Maybe I will next time, if there's a next time. So bands back then, they used to, some singers used to play guitar, and I don't know if Klaus Meine still does that. Bruce Dickinson, I think, never did it again after that tour. I don't know if Klaus Meine did. But "Coast to Coast," I love that song. Very heavy. The next 2 songs, "Holiday" and "Still Loving You." I thought at the time, even when I was a dumb 15-year-old kid, I don't know if I thought this at the concert, but on the album I thought, why are they have 2 ballads in the set and they're doing them back to back. I'm not a setlist complainer and I'm not an expert. Who am I to tell Scorpions how to make their setlist? But I thought, and I still think it's strange to have 2, and they're basically the same song. "Holiday" and "Still Loving You" are more or less the same song. And strange that they had them back to back. I think they would have been better spaced out. And I don't love Scorpions ballads. Those 2 are both okay, but "Rock You Like a Hurricane" is next. That was the big hit. And I think it might have been this one or before this one where Klaus Meine, in his classic Klaus Meine stage banter, said, "Do you see the microphones up in the air? Do you see them? Do you know what we're doing tonight? We're recording a live album tonight!" And the crowd goes crazy. I like Klaus Meine. Oh, what a singer he is, too. "Can't Live Without You." That might be my number 1 favorite Scorpion song ever. There's it's up for debate, but "Can't Live Without You," it's a very cheesy song. It's a rocker song about put your hands in the air so I can see you over there. I want to see all your lights shining on. how does it? What's the first line? Put your hands in. No, I just said that. I see you. I see you play imaginary guitars. You people shaking your heads, rock to the end of the set. You really turn me on wherever we are. Can't live without you. That's maybe favorite Scorpions song, and I apologize for my singing. If you've never heard it before, don't judge it by my singing, because Klaus Meine sings a lot better than I do. Another piece of meat, fast up-tempo, very, very up-tempo Scorpion song, along with Now, which was on Blackout, which they didn't play on this album, and another piece of meat, which they did. Scorpions had some of these really fast rocker songs. The Zoo is in my top 5 too. The Zoo was one of the first Scorpion songs I ever heard, probably 83 or 84, when I used to listen to the late night metal shows on Friday and Saturday night. I heard songs like The Zoo. What else were they playing back then? He's a Woman, She's a Man from Taken by Force. Steam Rock Fever. Also, Taken by Force is a great album. What else was on that? I don't know, but The Zoo, which was on Animal Magnetism. So that was an early Scorpion song that I used to listen to, and I used to love, and I still love it. That's another one that's kind of heavy, and something really cool about the Scorpions too that is different than Iron Maiden, because they both have they call it the twin guitar attack. Iron Maiden, and I'm a massive Iron Maiden fan. That's been well established. The two guitars and now 3 guitars, they were all mostly, except during the solos, they were playing the same thing at the same time. Scorpions, they had a lot of songs where, not just during the guitar solo, where Rudy Schenker was playing one thing and Matthias Jabs was playing another thing. A lot of songs like that, really, really cool stuff. And The Zoo was one of them. You had the maybe that wasn't two separate guitars, and during the chorus, we're in the night, we break the tie, and there's kind of like some little leads or licks like that. Love that song. No One Like You, that was, as I said, that was the first Scorpion song I ever heard in 1982. And I always thought of it as a rocker, but over the years, I don't know if this is possible, it kind of morphed into more of a ballad. I got tired of that one, but I still like No One Like You, not a favorite. Dynamite, another very fast, sounds like Blackout and Coming Home. That Scorpions kind of a little bit, kind of to me, it's like a percussive riff, like it's Rudy just hitting the strings. A little bit even AC/DC-ish, although I would never say Scorpions sound like AC/DC. And then the last 3 songs kind of combine. Well, it's kind of one song, but they broke it into 3. Was Can't Get Enough Part 1 and Can't Get Enough Part 2, and in the middle was 6-string Sting, which was Matthias Jabs' guitar solo. Which I don't think that was on the first, the original album. No, I think on the original CD, because CDs were limited to like 74 minutes then. I think they had to cut that last 6-string Sting and Can't Get Enough. I think they had to cut it off, but it's on the CD, and there it is. So for a live album, it wasn't my intention really to talk about this, but as I said, I'm on a real Scorpions kick. And so that's why I did it. And I really like Scorpions. I've kind of forgotten about them over the years. They were never one of my top bands like the ones I mentioned. They were never, ever on the same level for me as Metallica, Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath, Motorhead, Kiss, Rat, even AC/DC, Van Halen. They were never up there, but I did always like them. And I'm enjoying going back and getting into their older stuff, their catalog now. Everybody should. Those, especially the first time, it almost doesn't even sound like Scorpions. Very, very different. 1972, Lonesome Crow. And I was thinking of a way to incorporate the word live into my catchphrase at the end, where I say I love this album. I was going to try to say something like I live this album, or I love this live album, or something. But I couldn't do it, so all I'm going to say is I love this album.